Hi, I'm Sarah from the upcoming. Such a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. Maybe you can kick us off with a brief intro to Irish Wish. What can people expect when they watch it?
I think people can expect a lovely degree of escapism. I think all these rom-coms are always great for giving some hope. We find Maddie as a character who is working for someone that she's madly in love with, but maybe that's not what she really is looking for in life, and maybe she's looking for somebody else, and she hasn't discovered them yet. Obviously, she then makes this big wish, just wanting to be with that person, and then yeah, all is not as expected.
And I've always been such a fan of rom-coms, and what I love about this one is it feels like a real classic. Thinking of sort of Maid of Honor or My Best Friend's Wedding. I know this is
Yeah.
your first out-and-out rom-com. You've
Yes.
always been a fan of the genre, and why was this the one that you thought, right, I'm going to take the plunge?
Yeah, I mean, agreeing with you, certainly this does feel like a throwback to those sort of 90s rom-coms, right? You know, My Best Friend's Wedding, or Runaway Bride, that kind of, those sorts of things. You know, like Notting Hill, Love Actually, all of those. I grew up on those with, watching those with my mum. So yeah, for me, it was a great chance to go and get involved in that world. But yeah, maybe it's because I consider myself having an old soul. So I suppose I like films that have a throwback to an earlier time, I feel that this is very much in that vein, and as it should be. Like it's good fun, and it's a good romp.
And of course, quite different from some of the roles you've been doing recently, particularly like Reese in You. So what was it like making that jump? And how did you kind of see James? I mean, I think he's got that classic kind of British dry wit, sort of bit sarcastic, but you feel like it comes from a good place. And sort of beneath that humor, there is a real sort of like good heart.
Yeah, I don't think he's out to hurt anybody. James is there to yeah, he's got a dry wit. There is a sarcastic edge to him, but it is coming from a good place. You're right. I feel that for me it was a lovely removal. I mean, the film came about as I was just coming towards the end of filming You, and Netflix, I was bowled over when they said, "Oh, do you want to come and do a film for us now?" I was like, "Yeah." I was completely honoured to do so. But yeah, it was a nice removal for me from what I'd been doing, and he's a very observant guy. He travels the world. What I found interesting about him is he's very comfortable in his skin, and actually, maybe some of these other characters that I'd played, maybe they weren't because they were putting on a performance or a show. I feel that with James, yeah, he's very grounded in who he is, and he's very aware of who he is, and in a positive way. And I think he's there to help Maddie look at the world slightly differently.
What about working with Lindsay? I mean, talking about kind of retro classics, what I mean? We grew up on Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, Parent Trap. So we know that Lindsay has a knack for kind of landing those comedy beats, but also
Yeah.
just being, playing a character that you get really invested in. So what was it like working opposite her?
I mean, this sort of type of filmmaking is bread and butter for her. So for me, again, it was another huge drawing card to doing this kind of film, because if you're going to go and pair up with someone, you might as well go and do it with one of the best around. And she is, like, she's brilliant with the physical comedy. She's got wonderful timing. She's very sort of astute in her approach. And yeah, she's great fun to be around on set, but I think she's very, very dedicated to the process of what we're trying to do. And fundamentally, it doesn't matter if you're doing comedy, drama, thriller, you've got to find the truth in the scenes, and she wants to do that over and over and over again.
And I really love how Ireland is captured. I mean, like the beauty of the landscapes,
Yeah.
everything's that bit heightened, sort of like going in those cozy pubs, the music, everything. What was it like shooting there? I was reading that perhaps you were doing more trail running, perhaps than Guinness pint downing. I don't know. What was it like, on and off set?
I mean, I did go and find a couple of places for a good Guinness. I definitely did that because I am a Guinness fan. However, yeah, I was doing a lot of trail running. I guess maybe in part because James is big into his nature. He's a wildlife photographer, but also I love getting out in the outdoors. I'm quite a physically active guy, so and I was blessed to be in County Wicklow, which has epic coastline on one side and mountains on the other, and I had to go off and explore. So if I had a day to myself, you'd just find me running up mountains basically, and it was stunning for that. It was a beautiful place to film. I got to drive around in an old Triumph. It was a very idyllic 6 weeks, definitely.
And in terms of the takeaways, I mean, I guess, these are the sorts of films that, feel very comforting to watch. There is escapism there. But, underneath it as well, there's a message about kind of having maybe more confidence in yourself and
Yeah.
trusting your instincts, looking at it from sort of Maddie's point of view. And obviously that's what James brings out in her.
Yeah, completely. And I think the interesting thing you said about sort of trusting your instincts, but I think it's an important thing for all of us. It's something that I tell myself when it comes to work and anything in life. It's just to trust yourself, really, and to have that self-belief, and not to necessarily be pinning it on somebody else. But it's all got to come from you. And I feel that is the journey that Maddie's character goes on, and just having your eyes open maybe a little bit more.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with me, and I cannot wait for everyone else to have a chance to see Irish Wish. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Sarah. Take care.
Thanks.